reason we're here tonight is because each summer I bring a bunch of really special teenagers from the Mount Vernon area up to Brant Lake Camp. And there they have the typical fare of activities. We have baseball, we have tennis, and we have trips to the waterfront. We go on an adventure project. We do campfires at night. But the thing which we love about camp isn't so much of the structured activities, but it's the things which we get to do during our free time. You know, when kids really get to self-discover and self-declare, this is what I want to be doing. Sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it's sitting around reading a comic book. Sometimes it's just sitting around and catching up with somebody. But of course, there are those that the typical fare is offered. So we leave basketballs out on the basketball court. We have horseshoes. The kids love ping pong. Well, on one of the roads where the bunks were, there was a GaGa pit, which has been there, for the past 10 years. And we introduced these young men and women from Mount Vernon to GaGa. First time they saw it. And as all the kids described tonight, they immersed themselves immediately. It was a simple game. There were no real rules to be explained. It was gender neutral, so the boys and girls could play together. It was like dodgeball, so there was a flee aspect to it. There was an elimination aspect to it, so it fed their competitive juices. And they didn't want to stop. They just didn't want to stop. And as a teacher and as an adult watching this, you look at it and say, do you really want a game where kids eliminate themselves? Because, we want, as a teacher, you want kids to have maximum participation and everything. You don't like elimination games. But very unusual, when the kids are eliminated, they don't go run or confront each other and get into trouble. They just stand by the wall and wait for the next game because they're so drawn into the activity. The other thing which is great about it, again, it doesn't reward the most athletic kid. I mean, sometimes with the ball bouncing off the wall, it's just kind of like the luck of the draw. Sometimes you're just in the right place at the right time and you get to win. The other reason we love it is because kids will never argue during a game of GaGa. They make their decision right away. If someone feels like they didn't get struck and they did get struck with the ball and they're eliminated, for some reason, there isn't that typical recess look on the playground where everyone just kind of piles and they spend 5 or 10 minutes trying to referee the situation. The kids self-police because all they want to do really is just get back and play. And of course, there's a result, but the process is just go back in and start another game. And so the rule of thumb in an activity is you always want to end an activity 5 minutes too soon rather than 5 minutes too late. But it just seems like when it comes to GaGa, you're always ending it early. They're always hungry. They're always that thing. They want to go play tomorrow. They want to go play the next activity period. So I'm watching these kids play, and I'm taking snapshots of our current situation, of our suburban situation here in Westchester. And there are plenty of opportunities for a lot of our children to play GaGa. There's actually a GaGa center on Central Avenue. There are GaGa activities as part of our after-school club, where like Scott provides activities where the kids come to play as part of an after-school activity. You don't tend to see GaGa pits in underserved areas, and one of the chief reasons why is a good GaGa pit costs about $4,000 or $5,000. And although it sounds expensive, think about what a good basketball hoop costs. You could put up a tinny basketball hoop, right? And inside of 6 months, the rim's going to be warped, it's probably going to be rusted, and the net's going to be off. And what came into an area is part of a great idea, a great investment. Within 6 months, it's going to be an eyesore. Well, if we were to put a GaGa pit into an underserved area and it wasn't a top quality pit, outside of one winter, that thing would be splintered and worn down and it would be a playground eyesore. So a GaGa pit's kind of pricey. It's about $4,000 or $5,000. GaGa doesn't know socioeconomic boundaries. GaGa is enjoyed by children with all types of different athletic ability, and certainly anyone of any means can use a GaGa pit to get together and play. And so the idea started going through my head is, why not use this opportunity not just to make a donation to a neighborhood and enshrine a playground or embellish a playground to enhance the look of the playground, but why not come up with an activity which will add value to a neighborhood, but will also serve as a conduit for our kids to be able to play together. And that is exactly the reason we're assembled here tonight. Because I have this idea or this vision of building GaGa pits in 5 or 6 very deserving areas in our neighborhood, in our backyard, in our community, but not just building. I'm talking about taking ownership of them, and I'm talking about engaging them and using them as a means to get our communities to play with one another. The very, very easy thing to do would be to put this together as part of a master plan and say, I've got a great idea, let's, I'll go out and find people to do this. And what I'd be becoming is I'd be a shareholder, trying to impose a plan on somebody else. And I realized through experience that that's not the best way to engage community. You engage community by increasing the role of shareholders and bringing people together and having people take ownership in a project which can be very, very near and dear. So the idea of tonight is to establish this as a working group. Put together 5 or 6 modules, 5 or 6 groups. Come up with an action plan, and by this spring, have 5 GaGa pits built in Westchester. Not just having the pit built, but complete with an activity schedule where we would go in and work with site directors and work with schools to ensure that the activities would include children from different communities playing together.